friends. It's time for another chapter of Dory Phantasmagoria, the Real True Friends. So yesterday, we got to read 2 chapters, which was pretty exciting. Now, a lot happened, but we're going to focus on what happened in chapter 4 because I feel like this is really important to Dory and Rosabel's friendship. Now, if you remember, they were having circle time, and in circle time, Rosabel shared that her dragon is covered in band-aids. Now, if you remember, her teacher was like, "Your stuffed dragon?" And Rosabel said, "Nope, a real dragon." Now, this made Dory pretty excited because she knew Rosabel had an imagination also. Now, at the end of this chapter, Rosabel was playing hopscotch with her hopscotch buddies. And Dory was standing on the side saying, "Don't step on the dead sharks. Don't step in lava." And Rosabel was playing along. And we ended our chapter with Mary doing an exercise. So it's time. "Where else would I live?" she asked. "Although I do have a little cottage in the woods when I need to hide." "Do you have an underground base?" "I do," says George. "Raise your hand if you have an underground hamster base," he says, raising his hand. I ignored George and asked Rosabel, "Hide from what?" "You know, creepy old witches, that kind of thing," says Rosabel. "Dory, aren't you going to draw something?" asked the teacher, looking at my blank paper. "Dory," she says, "can you hear me? Dory, are you there?" After school, I rushed straight to my room to get all my layers off and put my nightgown on and find out if I got any phone calls while I was gone. "Nobody called you." "She didn't call yet," I say. "I have big, humongous news," I tell them. "Rosabel has a dragon, and she lives in a castle. I'm dead serious." "See?" Luke says to Violet. "I told you Rascal made Rosabel up." "What? Did not make her up. She's real. She is a real girl in my class. She sits next to me." "Is she real in the same way Mary is real?" asked Violet. "You better say I'm real. You better." "Yes," I say. Mary proudly smiles. "What does your teacher say when you talk to Rosabel at school?" asks Luke. "She says, 'Girls, please be quiet.'" Luke laughs at this. "Do you play with anyone else at recess besides Rosabel?" asks Violet. "Well, I only play with Rosabel, sort of." I cry so hard that my whole room fills up with tears. Why are Luke and Violet so mean? And what is so great about hopscotch? Will Rosabel ever play with me? Where is Mr. Nuggy when I need him most? Maybe Rosabel isn't my real true friend after all, I cry to Mary. Maybe I'll never have a friend. Maybe Luke and Violet are right. I think I like playing school better than actually going. Mary, after all that begging? Ugh, but I need you now. I have no one to play with, I cry. I bet tomorrow Rosabelle will play with you, she says. How do you know? I ask. Just be yourself, she says. Easy to get a seat next to her with the hopscotch girls around. I open my lunchbox and I am shocked to discover that my mom packed my phone. Why would she pack my phone? What was she thinking? Oh my goodness, what if it rings? Please, please, please don't ring. Uh-oh. Ring, ring, ring. I have to answer it. If I don't answer it, Mr. No Soup. Hello? Dory, how are you? Asked Mrs. Gobblecracker. Fine, I say, looking around the noisy cafeteria. I have to cover the other ear so I can hear her. I've decided what I want, she says. It's about I will free Mr. Nuggy if you get me what I want. Yes, anything, I say. I want a princess. A princess? Where am I going to get a... And then I look over at Rosabelle, cutting her grapes in half and eating them with a fork. I do some quick math in my head. The poofy dress, plus the crown, plus the high heels, plus the tea set, plus the dragon, plus the castle, plus the earrings, plus cutting her grapes equals... No problem, I say, smiling, because I'm certain that Rosabelle is going to love this game. I hang up. Meet me on the playground, I say to Rosabelle in a dead serious voice. You are in danger, and it's top secret. Her eyes suddenly lit up like fireworks. She quickly packs up her lunch, and I can barely keep up with her out the door to the playground. Rosabelle screams so loud when I tell her about Mrs. Gobblecracker that the hopscotch girls cover their ears and run away. Well, she has pointy teeth, a black cape, a long nose, sharp black nails, crooked shoes, a creepy bun. Rosabelle walks back and forth thinking. She looks very serious. For a long time, she didn't say anything. Finally, she opens her mouth to speak. We'll have to go to war, she says. War, I say? Do you have a horse? You need a horse. We have to be prepared to fight. This war isn't just about us. Who else is on Mrs. Gobblecracker's side? I don't think anybody. I've never seen anybody else but... She's definitely not working alone. I'm sure she has helpers. How many prisoners has she already taken? And where are they all? Asked Rosabelle. I don't know, I say. I never thought about it. She has a cave. You never thought about it? Rosabelle gasped. This isn't justice. We'll have to free them. I bet her cave is full of prisoners. It's up to us to save them. We need a plan. A real plan. We can't take any risks. I'm not going to spend the rest of my life or whatever. Then she starts talking even faster. It's too bad my dragon is so injured right now. But I can gather some nights when I go home from school. It seems to me like Rosabelle's a fan of this game. And we need to make a map of the woods to locate her cave. Juice, she suddenly shouts. We'll need your lemon juice. And then recess is over. That afternoon during math, I whisper to Rosabelle, there's one more thing I have a fairy godmother named Mr. Nuggy, and he accidentally turned into a chicken. Oh, the same thing happened to my fairy godmother once, whispers Rosabelle. Hey, what are you guys talking about? Asked George. Chicken? Raise your hand if you like chicken. tonight at dinner. My dad asked me, Dory, what happened at school today? Rosabelle and I planned a war, I shout. Thank goodness it's Friday, says Mom. Friday night, Peter Pan hat, my goggles, Captain America shield, horsey, backpack full of bananas, Luke's army pants, flashlight, and large fork. Mary, ready for war. Why does W start with a D? Do crickets like morning? Do grown-ups have no future? Here's your sneak peek of chapter 6 called Into the Woods. Okay, last page I'm going to show you. All right, so before we read again on Monday, the question that you need to answer is, why is this chapter called In the Woods? Now, to answer this question, you can think about the plan that Rosabelle and Rascal made for how they're going to have their war. So think about that. We only have 2 more chapters left in this book, and then we'll start the 3rd one. We're doing pretty good. So think about that question. Have a fun weekend, and I'll see you on Monday.